range. Both of these decks are copies of the decks that top 8 at the Pro Tour. As you know, Jeremy Tizani winning the Pro Tour with Mono Blue Devotion, and David Doberne's playing the deck that Paul Rietzel played in the top 8 of the tour there.
Yep, it's kind of interesting to see this Paul Rietzel, Patrick Chapin deck in this top 8. You know, that it really was a hate deck for one tournament, and so to see it doing decently at a completely different tournament goes to show that just the raw power level of all these cards is enough to make it a major contender.
Yeah, you describe it as a hate deck. Certainly it attacks from a lot of angles. It has a 1-drop in Soldier of the Pantheon and, plays 5 drops in the same deck.
Yeah.
6 drops, not many decks have Soldier of the Pantheon and Elspeth Sun's Champion in the main.
Yeah, those two do not often share the same 60, but here we are, and we are, in the top 8, so...
Yeah, I think what the deck certainly does have going for it is a lot of removal, and he's going to need a lot of removal against the Mono Blue Devotion deck, which is really our most the aggro deck of our top 8 right now.
I would say so. It's definitely the most traditional aggro deck. It sort of feels like Kifkin or similar, with its very aggressive starts, a very swarm-oriented aggression, rather than a reach-oriented aggression or ramp-oriented aggression. It is really just playing on curve and playing strong, resilient threats.
Yeah, so what Chad has done with his Mono Blue deck is he's taken a lot of the traditional sideboard cards of the deck and put them in the main. Not for the creature base, that's still pretty normal, but he's playing 9 spells in the deck. He's playing a huge diversity of answers. He's playing Dissolves, Claustrophobias, Disperse, and Cyclonic Rift.
Interesting. And still finds room for Jaces and the Biden.
Yeah, it just has 1 Biden. We've seen some people up that to 2. But remember, as the 3rd seed, Chad will get to be on the play game 1.
Very important for the Mono Blue deck, I would say.
Absolutely.
More so than for any other deck in the top 8.
And Chad has kept on 7. We'll see where the players start right there. This is a matchup that in the top 8, this matchup never actually happened. Paul was knocked out by Makihito Mahara.
Right.
So, I'm not really totally sure how this one plays out, but we'll find out.
We'll find out together.
Yeah. Chad starts out with a turn 1 Judges Familiar.
Pro Tour champion ×2.
Yep, as we said, the champ, the bird.
The owl from Zelda that annoys the player.
So what's your take on white black? The one thing it doesn't have is a true sweeper.
Yeah, it's lacking that. Its card drawing is also a little iffy. Only 3 Read the Bones, and you're deciding between Read the Bones and Underworld Connections, neither of which are really ideal options. Much rather have just Think Twice, or Divination.
So David's going to play his 1-drop of his own, and actually, interesting enough for the control deck, he has the better 1-drop here in Soldier of the Pantheon.
Yeah. Matches up quite favorably against the Judges Familiar, although I imagine they will be...
Yeah, Chad holds back the Judges Familiar. Now that's not actually going to be able to trade here, because it
awkward.
has... Yeah, I think he realizes it now. It's Judges Familiar is a multicolored creature, so he can't block with it.
All right, well, Chad missed a point. Not a huge deal. Obviously bad, but just missing 1 point. The more important thing now is see how he recovers from that mistake. If he, panics and chokes because he missed it, or if he realizes, it's only 1 point, the game continues.
Yeah, it really only is 1 point. When you talk about the Mono Blue Devotion decks, they do play creatures like Judges Familiar, but that's not how the deck wins and loses games. It wins and loses on cards like Thassa and Master of Waves.
Absolutely. So a pretty ideal curve from David, an aggressive curve from David with the Soldier of Pantheon into the Precinct Captain, as Chad Taylor plays a Night Veil Spectre, which is a nice little convenient answer to the Precinct Captain.
Yeah, so he's going to cast Night Veil here, and now he does turn on the aggressive attack with the Judges Familiar. Doberne, I'm not sure he's either at 17 or 18, depending on whether he caught the Soldier of the Pantheon trigger.
Ooh, cute. I always forget about that.
Yeah, I know. So the big thing is what Chad's setting up is he has set up a devotion of 4 here. So David's going to try to knock out that key piece to the equation. He does cast Thoughtseize.
And there's Thassa.
Thassa, another Night Veil Spectre, a Dissolve, and a Nykthos. So what do you make of the fact that Chad opted to play the Night Veil Spectre over the Thassa here?
It's definitely interesting. I think that playing Thassa and then trying to play Night Veil Spectre the next turn and attack, you're just turning yourself over to like any removal spell, turning it off, and then you're basically back a turn. Whereas if you play the Night Veil Spectre first, then they have to kill the Night Veil Spectre. You can just play another Night Veil Spectre.
Yeah, and we see Doberne's going to swing in with Soldier of the Pantheon, which still has protection from Chad's entire board.
Yes, convenient.
Yeah, now we're going to see how much damage Night Veil can do. It does not look like Doberne had a kill spell for the first one, so it's going to start being able to play some of Doberne's cards.
Yep, time to go into Ophidian mode.
Yeah. Now, Chad makes the land drop here before attacking.
Which is a little awkward, but
It does.
Nykthos can tap for black or white.
So it can it can tap for 3. Yeah, it can actually make 3 black mana.
Yeah, he can actually cast a lot of cards.
Doberne's going to Doomblade the Judge's Familiar. It's fine. You can sack it to counter the Doomblade, I suppose, if he wants. And that will... What that does do, though, is the fact that Chad didn't play spells pre-combat means that he lost a mana when that Judge's Familiar was Doombladed. He could have tapped the Nykthos for 2. I'm not positive he has a play where that matters, but it could.
It definitely could have. Here we see another Night Veil Spectre.
If Doberne does hit the life point, get the life point this time. And he passes back. Now remember, there's that Plains under the first Night Veil Spectre. Chad did make the Nykthos before attacking, so he's going to miss the chance to play that Plains. But as long as the Night Veil Spectre doesn't die, he'll be able to cast it play it next turn.
Yep. And that opens a lot of doors. Desecration Demon likes to close doors, though. Not a real efficient answer to that in the mono blue deck.
Yeah, its answer is normally 2. He does have so he has a Claustrophobia, a Disperse, and 2 Cyclonic Rifts as his removal spells. Otherwise, he's going to have to use a card like Thassa to push through it.
Yeah. Or Master, make 1,000,000 tokens, and then start sacrificing to the altar.
So we see 6 mana made off Nykthos into a 3rd Night Veil Spectre and a Tidebinder Mage. This Nykthos now taps for 11.
That's a lot. It's a pretty bit of mana.
Now, what it will mean is that if Chad manages to draw a Thassa, he can on this turn cast a Thassa and unblockable his entire team. With just that is exactly 11 mana.
Whew, look at that.
That would be quite the draw.
There's a reason that this deck plays 4 of that card. The Soldier getting in there. Demon thinking about it.
Yeah, so Chad has the option of trading the Tidebinder Mage off with the Soldier of the Pantheon.
Or preserving for the Devotion.
So what do you think here? I almost feel like the Tidebinder Mage is waiting so that it can tap the demon and then swing with 3 Night Veil Specters.
Yeah, I think so too.
But that is not the case. I suppose if he would have wanted that attack, he would have put the tap down on that attack step. And Doberne's going to go ahead and cast Hero's Downfall on one of the 3 Night Veil Specters, leaving Chad's board a little sparse. We'll see if he can push through. Remember, as this game goes later, it will probably tend to favor the white-black mid-range deck.
Absolutely. The mono-blue deck spells are much lower impact as the game goes on.
Let's see here. We know about a Dissolve that Chad has. He's going to go ahead and pay 2 mana for Frostburn Weird. Question is whether or not he will use it to push through the Desecration Demon. If he does that, he'll do it on his next turn.
Right. Prevent an attack as well as a block.
Right. He plays the Frostburn Weird and passes back with a Devotion of 8 and 1 card in hand. And Doberne draws another Hero's Downfall.
It looks like his hand is a 5th land, a 2nd Precinct Captain, and a 2nd Hero's Downfall. So pretty good position for him right now.
Do you need to Hero's Downfall something right now?
No, I don't think you're in any rush. Looks like David is in a rush. Wants to take out the Night Veil Spectre now.
Well, he does know about a counter spell, right? It is a counter spell that he knows about.
Yeah, Dissolve.
In Chad's hand. Chad had interestingly enough, has had the opportunity to cast Dissolve and is not doing it right now. He doesn't feel too threatened by Doberne's board, I suppose, though Desecration Demon could do a lot of damage here.
Yeah. Yeah, but the demon's in there. Might as well save it for, the next demon, the Obsidat, something like that. The Elspeth.
And the board has stalled out. That favors Doberne. And we're going to see if he starts to get aggressive here.
Yep. It might be demon time.
Yeah, I was wondering with that dissolve in Chad's hand, he had the chance to dissolve. Had he dissolved the Hero's Downfall there, he would have had the chance to scry one. And I'm not positive how valuable that is here.
Yeah.
Land from Chad. And now he's going to go ahead and make a move that's going to be a Tidebinder Mage and a pass back.
All right.
So let's look at like cards that break the board style. Obviously, if Chad can draw a Master Waves, that's huge. He has a devotion of 7 right now.
Yep. If he can get a Night Veil Spectre hit in, drawing, you know, an ultimate price from his opponent's deck would be pretty good.
Right, because he can actually cast all the black spells that are in Doberne's deck too.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Nykthos in play.
So that would be a good one.
I mean, I think it's once again, you know, Mono Blue is almost an Affinity-esque deck where it has, you know, it has those 2 cards that are insane. It has Master Waves and Thassa. And you know, when you think about what are the best cards at top deck, you know,
It's
I just
just always
jumped to
those two.
It's always those 2.
Yep. Yep. Agree completely.
I think in this
He also has 1 Claustrophobia to draw too.
Yeah, in this edition, I think Thassa is the better of the 2 cards to draw, just because he knows that David Doberne has a lot of spot removal.
Yeah.
You know, as we see, Doberne actually did draw a Doomblade there.
Yep, I would agree with that. And with a counterspell in hand, any of the bounce spells is also very good to 2-for-1 yourself to get rid of the demon.
All right, so Doberne's going to go ahead and attack here. That pushes Chad down to 8. It's going to let the Night Veil Spectre through, but it does speed up the game considerably.
Yes. Which I'm not sure if that's necessarily what David wants, but it does look favorable from this standpoint.
Well, the way I would see it from his point, I think he sees it as 1 removal spell, but he sees that his opponent is on a counter spell. If he, you know, he may not like how this late game is feeling, and he's
Sure.
the one. He has the opportunity to press an early game right now.
Sure, that does make sense.
Night Veil Spectre picks up a Mutavault from Doberne's deck.
Not too bad.
Not a terrible card. It's not that wall. It's gonna have trouble getting past the wall of Precinct Captains right now.
It's just demon fodder.
Yeah, true. It does stop the Desecration Demon. So when you say that, you'd say that Chad here, we might just see him sack the Mutavault. Just
Yes.
this turn.
I would not be surprised if that happened.
All right. Doomblade looks like it's going to take care of Frostburn Weird. David's going to want to try to push through with those Precinct Captains, and that will draw the dissolve from Chad Taylor.
Kind of forced the dissolve there. And the scry is going on the bottom.
Yeah, so a worthwhile dissolve.
Yep.
Let's see if he can push more through. Draw for turn is another land for Doberne. No help there. He's still just playing on the board. So he has the chance to make this trade of Desecration Demon for Night Veil Spectre. He started that trade. As we see, the Spectre's been pretty good here.
Yeah.
You know, now it's going to attack. Now Doberne can't stop the trading because, you know, Night Veil Spectre.
The door is open.
Yeah, the door is open, and now Doberne didn't have a choice there. The demon got tapped.
Yes.
The only option he has here is whether or not he wants to swing both Precinct Captains. It certainly pushes damage, but one of them will get eaten in the process.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're trading you're either trading a captain for a Tidebinder Mage or a captain for 2 damage and a 1/1. Either of which I don't think, and your opponent gets to choose which that is. I'm not sure that's profitable.
All right, Night Veil Spectre continues its chipping. It chips down to 10. We see Obsidat.
That one's going to be a little harder to cast.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way for him to make white mana, so that's pretty much a brick.
Yeah, he's going to have to get a couple of planes to do that, but he did draw a Mutavault for the turn, which is yet another demon snack.
Yep, so on Doberne's turn, he's going to go ahead and do that again.
So since Mutavault's a changeling, is that cannibalism?
Because the
demon ate the
ate
demon?
another demon. Well, demons probably just eat other demons all the time.
Yeah, that's just a
something
demon thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm not into demon culture that much.
And so now Doberne does get aggressive. Both Precinct Captains come in. One of them pumps, so 2/3. Frostburn is going to eat one of them, but Chad does go down to 6, and Doberne gets a 1/1 token.
Scryland. Might have done that before attacks, just get a little information.
No, the problem is he kept it on top.
But Night Veil Spectre.
Yeah, you only want to keep it on top if it's a really bad card.
So now Chad could do the double mind game and not attack? and make him draw a
I
bad
mean,
card.
oh gosh. Like,
But what's a
you
bad
can't
card?
do-
A bad card is like a land, which you'll take, right?
Well, I'm surprised he doesn't also swing Frostburn weird.
It's a land.
Yeah, at this
He's
point,
one land away from casting that Obsidian now.
that is true. He could, if he hits a plains, he can cast Obsidat.
If that's not sweet, I don't know what is.
I'm talking about a sweet draw. That's Master Waves. Chad has a devotion currently of 8.
Do the
That's
wave!
Going to.
Everybody do the wave!
We said those 2 cards in the deck. They're always what you want to top deck. This board state is no different.
Absolutely massive draw from Chad there. Gonna make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Casually draws 18
8?
power worth of creatures.
Oh, and there is Master of Waves surfing it up.
All right.
Now, is he surfing on a shell or is he standing on a rock?
Well, I'm not positive. Maybe we'll get
It
him
looks
up
like he's
there.
standing on a rock, but I want to say that he's surfing on a shell because that's, that's sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, not positive.
These are the important questions,
Yeah. All right.
These are the things I need answered.
All right. So while the player sideboard, we're going to bring you back into the booth if you've been following us. We do trivia during the top 8
Oh my God.
of our Star City Games Opens. So if you haven't been with us before, what that means is that we will ask you a trivia question. If you get it right, you need to tweet your answer to the trivia question, and you must tweet it with the hashtag SCGPremium, as you can see right there. If that's on your tweet with the correct answer, at the end of all of our top 8 matches, at the end of the evening, we will announce a winner for the trivia question. So if you do it during the top 8, you will receive 3 months of Star City Premium. If you do it during the top 4, you will receive 6 months of Star City Premium. I'm really impressed to see how you're going to do this next one. If you win it during the finals, you receive 12 months of Star City Premium. Not close. Yes. That looks like 21. That's 21 months. Okay, 12 months. Yeah.
I need to
You gotta
let
switch
me
them.
borrow some fingers.
All right, we have 2 more. So 12 months of Star City Premium. Okay, so without further ado, our question, we're gonna go with cards in the current meta. This is if I want to think about defining cards of the day, I was gonna say kind of like the breakout card of the tournament. We're looking for looking for the name of a card. This is what legendary land is featured in 3 of our top 8 decks. So that's kind of there's already a pretty big tip-off clue in there. I would say it's one of the breakout cards of the format. So if you think you know the answer to this question,
Cabal Coffers.
Cabal Coffers is not legendary, is it?
No, it is not.
I don't think it's legendary, so that can't be it. All right. If you know the answer, though, tweet it with hashtag SCG Premium, and at the end of the top 8, we will select one person to receive 3 months. All right. Well, let's bring us back to the matchup.
Okay.
So we have game 1 went to Chad Taylor when it was a drawn-out affair, but eventually Master of Waves was able to break it open.
As he's wont to do.
As it's wont to do. Why don't we go? Let's look at the sideboards, though.
All right. Well, let's start with David, who's going to be on the play for game 2. He has a Banisher Priest, a Devourer Flesh. Devourer Flesh not too great, but maybe you just want to max out on removal. 1 Dark Betrayal, interesting. 4 Sin Collectors, obviously not for this matchup. 3 Lifebane Zombies, same deal. 3 Fiendslayer Paladin, also the same deal. 1 Elspeth. Is Elspeth good here? Probably not. It's too slow, right?
I would think it's too slow.
Yeah, and then 1 Blood Baron of Viscopa, which actually might be randomly good.
Yeah, it seems like it would be okay. I'm not.
If you're like all removal and you're like in weird racing situations, I guess you just have
You
to.
just need a finisher, right? I mean, yeah, some of them were in the main decks. This is an extra Blood Baron, right?
No, we are on 3 Obsidat.
Because there's no
Baron
Blood
there.
Barons in the main deck,
Yeah.
so this is the first one. In that case, he may want to board one in. I could definitely see that.
It seems like it'd be okay. I mean, if you're in a game like that one, it's obviously very good. But if you're in a game where like you're the direct control, then it's not necessarily as good. Like if the board gets bogged down. But
Yeah. How do you feel about Banisher Priest in the matchup? It's one of the ways you can deal with Master Waves. Then again, it's pretty soft to Cyclonic Rift. So there's a little bit of give and take on the card.
it is. I think that it's still like necessary. It's one of the few ways to deal with a landed Thassa, and also is like a pretty effective answer to Nightveil Spectre. Obviously, you don't want to be, Banisher Priest thing a Judge's Familiar, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do,
All right. So on Chad's side, there's a couple cards. The first one, I'm going to go with the interesting one, though, that's in his sideboard. I'm going to go with this. He has one of Simic Manipulator in his sideboard, which I think may actually come in this matchup. So if you don't know positive what Simic Manipulator does,
It's an
Let me get it up
0-1.
here. Yeah, it's an 0-1. So that's an 0-1 for 3. That sounds terrible, right? But no, it evolves and it slowly steals creatures. It removes counters to steal creatures with power less than or equal to the number of counters you removed.
It was certainly a limited bomb.
Yeah, it was very good and limited. It's not going to steal a Desecration Demon or anything. So you see Simic Manipulator there. But there seem to be a lot of problematic small drops in David's deck.
Precinct Captain, Soldier of Pantheon, Banisher Priest.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those get stolen. Remember, Simic Manipulator, you get to keep the creatures permanently even if you lose the Manipulator.
Yeah. Very cool card.
Yeah, pretty. Also has a lot of blue mana symbols, so plays into the devotion to blue strategy.
Definitely.
Quite well.
Definitely. Looks like we are getting started here. David Doberne going to be on the play for game 2.
Yeah, Doberne's going to be on the play. So we saw in that matchup, normally it seems like you want the white-black deck, the mid-range of the control deck would want to go late in this matchup. But he was able to stall out the game and actually kind of just lost on the board stall. So how does, say you have an ideal game for Doberne, how does his deck want this to play out?
Basically the same with an Obsidian.
Okay, so the exact same thing we just had, but then he taps out for Obsidian.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Like,
So he does, so of his finishers, he has 4 Desecration Demon and 3 Obsidian.
yeah,
And that's
a
really,
whip.
and a Whip of Erebos. So he's going to need to have one of those finishers that he can curve into.
He also has an Elspeth, but I wouldn't be surprised if that came out.
Yeah, and this seems like one of the advantages to the mono blue Devotion deck. It's first and foremost, it's an aggro deck, which makes it pretty powerful in the early game. But then when you get to the late game, because it's playing blue, it has a lot of game. It can do a lot of things late game that other aggro decks can't. It can hold up a dissolve. It can bounce things.
Trixie
Yeah, it
blue
gets
mages.
tricksy.
Those Trixie blue mages with their interrupts.
Yeah, it looks so. Chad here on a mulligan. We'll go ahead and see if he keeps here. All right, and we are underway, and we're going to see what exactly Chad kept. Doberne's going to lead off with a turn 1 Thoughtseize. So it is a 1-lander kept by Chad Taylor. He has Cloudfin Raptor, Tidebinder Mage, Cyclonic Rift, Thassa, and Claustrophobia.
Not a bad 1-lander, but you're gonna have to get there.
Yeah, it's aggressive because it's not. He does not just 1 island from having a good hand. He's really 2 islands from having a good hand.
Yep, but on the draw on 6, probably a keep. But it is certainly throwing the dice a little.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how Doberne plays this. I think there's a good chance that you actually might want to take Thassa here.
Yeah, I agree.
The reason is that, so if you take the Thassa, which he's going to take,
Ooh,
there's
good call.
Yeah, well, there's no good draw here for Chad. So either he draws
A land that has
a
nothing to
land and he has nothing to cast, or he draws a spell and he can't cast it.
do. Right.
So he's leaving him in a pretty rough situation. All right, so turn 1, we do see the island, followed up by Cloudfin Raptor for Chad. Ships the turn back. And now the question is, what kind of follow-up are we going to see from David Doberne?
No follow-up right away, and there is an island. So the Tidebinder Mage is going to come down, evolve the Cloudfin Raptor, which immediately dies.
Yeah. Gets hit by a Doomblade. So Tidebinder Mage will just be the 2/2. No attacks in the air. Doberne stays at 18 from the Thoughtseize.
Oof, and there's the white mana. It looked like he was actually missing a color there, but the white red off the top. He's got a couple more removal spells.
Yep, let's go ahead and just kill everything he sees. He's going to cast a Doomblade on the Tidebinder Mage. Third land is there for Chad Taylor, but he does not have a play. Remember, the remaining cards in his hand that we know about are Cyclonic Rift and Claustrophobia. Both
Not
were
too
left
good.
there.
Not too good at this point, but we'll see how they do as the game progresses. Thoughtseize for David.
Yep, he has a pair of Heroes Downfalls and a Banisher Priest, so he has a lot of removal, but he does not have any threats.
This is going to be a weird, little, destitute game where the players are just don't have mana or, creatures.
Yeah, so Doberne needs a fair amount of. He has to be able to stall the game for quite a while right now, right? He needs to get to the Obsidian in 2 ways. First, he has to draw the Obsidian, and second, he has to draw the mana to cast the Obsidian.
All while, surviving and staying at parity and all that good stuff.
He does go for Thoughtseize here, which is probably necessary as Chad's hand will empty pretty soon. He takes the Cyclonic Rift, leaving Chad just with that one of Nykthos and a Claustrophobia in hand.
Yep, I mean, taking Cyclonic Rift makes sense with the Banisher Priest in hand.
Yeah, you'd hate to get a Master Waves under the Banisher Priest only to have an end-step Cyclonic Rift.
Exactly.
And a card drawn for Doberne. It's not a land, and right now Chad's just drawing lands. Doberne is just drawing spells.
We've reached the skill-intensive portion of our match.
Yeah, we're just playing
Both
land
players draw a card a turn.
Oop, wait. Now we have a creature on the board.
Oh,
It's
no.
Judge's Familiar for Chad Taylor.
And it's a creature that's just bad enough that David doesn't want to
kill
spend
it.
a card to kill it.
David has a hand of 4 kill spells, and he's not killing Cloud. He's not killing the Judge's Familiar right now.
All right, here comes the Banisher Priest.
All right.
Got to get on board.
It was taking Judge's Familiar taken care of. More that it gets Chad on a 10-turn clock at least.
Yes. You get some sort of value out of taking the Judge's Familiar, and you need the creature in play anyway.
All right, and now we have our first real creatures about to hit the battlefield.
Daddy's home.
Yeah, Daddy. So one of the 2 finishers in the deck made its way to David's hand. The question for him is whether or not he can try to wait to play around a counter spell, but I'm not sure that he can actually do that.
No, he just saw Chad's hand a couple turns ago. I mean, if it gets countered, it gets countered.
And it does not get countered, so Desecration Demon now lands on David's side of the board.
I like that play.
It's pretty strong. Chad's now going to have to... Chad's a little under the gun. Remember, he doesn't have... Well, he does have a Claustrophobia, which Doberne knows about, so that's pretty much he's going to be forced to do that.
Yep. Bet he wishes he took that Claustrophobia instead of the Cyclonic Rift now.
Well, there is the... Yeah. And then he's going to follow it up with Bident of Thassa.
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, Bident of Thassa is an excellent card when you already have creatures in play, and actually will be pretty good against Doberne's defensive board. That said, Chad's going to have a tough time sticking a creature on the board.
Another demon off the top.
Yeah, and that's a huge draw for Doberne. So
it's getting to master or bust time. Thassa's not bad either.
Yeah, so Thassa comes from Chad Taylor. It's probably one of the best draws he could hope for here.
Yeah.
Though he's going to be under some limited time, as right now there's 8 damage a turn being served by Doberne. That's a 2-turn clock. And we'll see how he proceeds with it. Doberne drawing a land for the turn. Remember, he has a pair of Heroes Downfalls and a Ultimate Price. Doberne's going to Ultimate Price his own Desecration Demon.
To what end?
Let's find out. What did he?
Just to show off?
I mean, if he has a Whip of Erebos, that gets it in the graveyard.
Well, he has a whip in his deck.
Not sure. So Thassa scries to the bottom, and Chad gets to draw a different card. And it's Mutavault.
Well,
okay. What that does do is it turns off the Thassa, because the Claustrophobia was actually blue mana number 5.
Oh wow! I completely missed that. That's so smart.
So Thassa's not going to be able to block here. He activates Mutavault, trying to tap Desecration Demon, but Mutavault is going to go ahead and get Heroes Downfalled, and that will be the game. There's David swings for the second set of 8 damage, and we will be going to game 3.
Demons are pretty good on an empty board.
Yeah, so he does have as far as his finishers goes, he has 4 Desecration Demons, 3 Obsidats, and 1 Blood Baron of Viscopa, possibly out of the sideboard.
Right. Well, that Claustrophobia giving devotion thing makes it even more strange to me that David took Cyclonic Rift instead of Claustrophobia.
Yeah, well, I mean, you did make the point that when you had a Banisher Priest, the Cyclonic Rift can be pretty good against Banisher Priest. But I think you're right there. Cyclonic Rift is one of those cards that's great on a board where you're ahead, but I think when Chad had nothing on the board, Rift doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, let him bounce your demon for a turn, you know?
Yeah, and just replay it.
Yep.
So they're going into game 3. Another update on our sideboard. Currently, Evan Adams and Jesse Hampton are in game 2. Evan Adams, with his green-red devotion deck, is up a match on Jesse's blue-white control deck.
Yep, and that's sort of to be expected, especially game 1 is going to be pretty hard for Jesse. Let's see if he can, probably our most experienced player in the top 8, at least on the pro level.
Yeah, Jesse, currently a silver pro this year. He was platinum last year, having top 8'd the Pro Tour in Philadelphia.
Yep, he's got some game. Let's see if he can pull out the nightmare matchup, as it seems to be.
Yeah, so red-green really has been that foil to blue-white right now.
Absolutely.
He's keeping Esper down.
At least Esper has the Doom Blades. Blue-white
Yes,
is
but blue-white
really
doesn't.
floundering.
Yeah, blue-white does not have much game against, an endless stream of really huge creatures and planeswalkers.
Yeah, it's strange to say, but it's true.
All right, so we have game 3 about to start here between Chad Taylor and David Doberne. So we saw 2 different games kind of play out there. Interestingly enough, both games went late and got into top deck wars. But one of them ended for the black-white deck, and the other one ended for the mono-blue deck. So
it happens in top deck wars. I mean, when you get to that point, I think the black-white deck is certainly advantaged, but it's so, I don't want to say high variance, but it's just it's a slight advantage. The margins are pretty thin there, right? It's a 60-40 advantage.
Yeah, so what are the cards that break? If we get what are the cards that matter in that situation?
Well, for the blue deck, it is, as always, Master and Thassa, right?
We get a couple of things like Dissolve. Dissolve matters quite a bit.
Dissolve
too.
is a good stopper. Jace is a good top deck as well. There's certainly, there's also the Biden is good depending on what the board texture is like, and Nightveil Spectre can also be good. It's more contextual, but straight up top deck wars, those are the cards you're looking for. And then on the other side, sort of equalizing with the 2 dissolves are the 9-ish removal spells, plus the Banisher Priests, the Desecration Demons, and the Obsidats, and maybe even a Blood Baron.
Yeah, I mean, how good, when there's so many removal spells in the white-black deck, is Master Wave still a great top deck for Chad? You said that those are the 8 cards that matter, and I agree, the 4 Masters and the 4 Thassas. It almost seems like the 4 Thassas are really the cards that matter.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Thassa's probably the best card, and Jace might even be better than Master for exactly that reason.
Yeah, so either way, though, that board style situation probably favors Doberne.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it is by a margin. It's a slight advantage, if any.
Oh, and we're gonna see the players get ready for game 3. Remember, Chad will be back on the play,
which is huge for his deck. Maybe we can see that famous, explosive, aggressive start that has been eluding us all day on camera.
Yeah. None of the games so far, you say it's really important for the deck. That hasn't really shown out in either of the games we said here. I almost would have wanted to be on the draw in some of these games.
They're certainly making me into a liar.
All right, turn 1 Island for Chad. No 1-drop, but he looks like has a slew of blue spells in his hand.
Yeah, he snap capped on the play, so that is certainly a good sign for him.
Yeah. Doberne, on the other hand, does have a Desecration Demon, so he has one of his late game cards. He's gonna go ahead and shock to 18 for Soldier of the Pantheon.
The old Elite Vanguard start.
Yep, and a little late to the party there. Chad draws Judge's Familiar on turn 2.
Right on time.
He's going to go ahead and cast Frostburn Weird. That'll gain 1 of David's 2 life back from the trigger on Soldier of the Pantheon. David's now at 19.
Thoughtseize, and he actually drew a different Thoughtseize for the turn, which is pretty good.
Yeah, so we look here, we see Tidebinder Mage, Judge's Familiar, Cyclonic Rift, Nightveil Spectre, and Thassa. So no third land.
Still take Thassa, right?
It's that
just
thing.
Always Thassa.
It's just always Thassa, and then it's always Master of Waves.
Yeah, I think the tier 2 might even be Jace, and then Master.
Okay, but it's those are the cards, and if they're there, you just always take them.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the easier decks to Thoughtseize, I suppose. It's well, this Thassa, it's on one hand, I could take your 5/5 Indestructible for 3 with a bunch of abilities,
or
I could take your Grizzly Bear.
Yeah.
I'll go for the 5/5.
The Disperse. Let's see.
Or the 1/1.
Wow, he actually takes Nightveil Spectre.
He's
taking both.
I'm
sorry.
He has the second Thoughtseize.
Right. That surprised me for a
second. That was really
yeah.
surprising. So both of them are going to go down, and that really leaves Chad's hand
very stripped, very bare.
And no swing from Soldier of the Pantheon.
Holding the Frostburn Weird at bay.
Yeah, looks like he's digging in here.
I love this bash.
All right.
Chump check. Good block. Good block.
If he left, it's unlikely he doesn't see that.
I've seen weirder things. All right,
and here comes a 1/1 flyer and a Grizzly Bear on the table.
Pro Tour winning deck right here, ladies and gentlemen.
This deck did win the Pro Tour. And where Doberne is building up toward this Desecration Demon in his hand, and that's why he didn't attack with Soldier of the Pantheon. He's
buying times the draw out of his mana woes.
It looks like he actually has the other 2 lands in his hand too, so he's really looks like he's gonna be able to buy time.
Okay. Looks
Yes.
like he's thinking about playing a tapped land so he can Desecration Demon on 4, or an untapped land so that he can Doomblade through the Judge's Familiar. Looks like he goes for the untapped land.
Yeah, that last land there is a Temple of Silence, so it's not going to be able to cast the Desecration Demon. He's keeping the Doomblade. Is there a creature he really wants to Doomblade here?
I don't know about this attack. I think you send the Frostburn Weird in also, right? For exactly this reason.
Yeah, and now Soldier gets to trade with Tidebinder Mage. So there's one... Yeah, I mean, that actually could have been 4 damage.
Yeah, missed some damage there for sure. Oh,
Let's
looks like
see.
it would have been Doombladed anyway.
Yeah, Doomblade does hit Frostburn Weird. That leaves Chad with just Judge's Familiar, which is fairly important as the draw for that turn. Chad did draw a Master of Waves.
Oof. So to lose all of his devotion like that? Well, if you draw a Master, do you even send your Tidebinder Mage to the
Not
Soldier?
positive you want to send it.
Hard to
We'll
say.
see.
Hard to say.
All right, Temple of Silence has a decision here for Doberne.
He won't let us in on it though.
Nope. It's got to be a spell, because I think if it was a land, he would have already shipped it.
Yeah, put it on the bottom immediately. Well, some pretty strong body language here. If you're Chad, what do you think this is?
All right. Really hard to say. So it's probably not a land. It's probably some sort of conditional spell.
If it was like a spot removal spell, it's like pretty easy top, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So it was maybe like a whip or like a read the bones you might not have time for.
Or a precinct captain. That's a
Precinct
card
captain.
you wouldn't know if you wanted
Yeah,
to keep.
that is a much more realistic guess.
Yeah, you know, precinct captain good, not really good here, but maybe he wants it anyway.
Yeah.
All right, Desecration Demon comes down, is cast for Doberne, and that's gonna be the first of 2. He has a second Desecration Demon in hand. And
Well, get you for 1.
yeah, Chad Taylor buying time. He end step Cyclonic Rifts the Desecration Demon. He's really just trying to buy time for the Master of Waves.
Yep.
He's hoping to draw that 4th land, but he's not going to. And Desecration Demon recast by Doberne.
He is back.
And this time, it does not get bounced.
Or countered. Let's see if he gets claustrophobia, because if not, that's those are all the options.
Yeah, and it looks like Chad's just getting stuck on 3. He had kept a hand that was a little light, and he's paying the price for it here. Desecration Demon swings for 6. And Chad hasn't entered chump block mode yet, but he certainly can't like where things are here. It's going to get dispersed.
Well, if this is dispersed, Chad missed the point, I think, but not too relevant. And the demon's just going to come right back down, sure
Yeah.
enough.
Remember, there's actually a look, there's I believe what's another demon in his hand.
Yeah, it looks like maybe an ultimate prize in the demon. It's a pretty good hand.
So Chad still without the 4th line. He's going to go ahead and make Tidebinder Mage here. Pass the turn back to Doberne.
Not ideal.
Yeah, that does help the Master Waves that's in his hand.
True.
Well, in theory, Doberne does have... Looks like he has the spot removal spell, though.
Yeah, I think he already had ultimate price and then just drew Hero's Downfall.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard for Chad to break through then.
Yeah, this is the exact spot that this white-black deck was designed to get into.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen... I think if anything at the Open today, we've seen really the breakout of just these black all-kill spell decks.
Yeah.
They've all done very well.
We have seen the power of the Doomblade. This is the tournament of the Doomblade.
All right, there we go. 4th land from Taylor.
Question is it too little too late? And Chad's gonna do some math. Still at a high life total, but demons hit hard.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's still a 2-turn clock on the board.
Yeah.
I mean, probably a 3-turn clock if he starts chump blocking with things. Master of Waves will be cast by Taylor. It'll make 3 elementals. It's probably not going to help here, as we know that Doberne has a kill spell.
Yeah, they are about to have 0 toughness.
Yeah. And we do actually have, as a quick update, our first result. In our 1 versus 8 match, Nick Jones, playing Esper Control, was able to take down Harrison Height 2-0, so he's going to go ahead and move into the semifinals for tomorrow morning.
Very interesting. And we do see that ultimate price on the Master. The elementals shrink down to nothingness.
And without a Master, the elementals have no power.
Yep.
Or no toughness.
It's like the aliens from Fifth Element, right? Take out the
man.
leader.
Yeah, and then
Let's
they
negotiate.
run away, right?
Yeah. Where did he learn to negotiate like that? I wonder. I watched the movie like 2 days ago. All right,
Swing
demons
by
get
12.
in.
Yeah. All right. That'll put Taylor down to 8. 1 turn from being dead here, and another Master Waves. He's hoping that this one will stick.
Yeah, master and cross the fingers.
Making 3 more elementals. That would, in theory, be enough fodder to keep off the Desecration Demons. And results coming in very fast. The winner of this match will be playing against Brian Elliott tomorrow morning. Brian's playing Green-Red Devotion. He was able to take down Kyle Dunn 2-0.
We do see that Hero's Demise take out the master. The elementals go with it. The Tidebinder Mage, view Lone Survivor, faces down 2 giant demons. Read the Bones. Gonna see another Read the Bones.
Doesn't want to... Is on top or bottom?
He put one on bottom and then one on top. Put the Read the Bones on the top, but his other card was another Hero's Downfall.
All right.
Take out the Tidebounder Mage before it could sacrifice to a demon, and the demons will swing in for lethal.
All right, and that'll do it. So David Doberne wins 2-1 over Chad Taylor with white-black mid-range. That'll put him into our top 4 for tomorrow morning, where he will face off against Brian Elliott playing Green-Red Devotion in our top 4.
Whew. There's some sweet decks and sweet matchups throughout this whole tournament,
Yeah.
especially this top 8.
So this was the only copy of Mono Blue that made it to our top 8, so will not be a repeat winner, at least in that sense. A lot of decks came here to beat Mono Blue. Whereas a lot of Mono Blue being played, only one copy made the top 8, and
Yeah.
none of them in the top 4.
Yeah, I think